Greetings and welcome once again to my new calculus channel. So in 2019, which is quite a few years ago, I talked about what does a half mean exactly. And you can watch that video if you want, but I'd like to just clear up a few things that I think people still don't actually understand. Okay. And one of those things is this, that a half is a number. It's an abstract number which comes from the measure of a ratio. Okay, so there is no, in mathematics, there is no length that is actually a half of anything. Okay, right. Let's say that all these lines here are equal. Now, in mathematics, what we do is we have what's called a ratio. Okay, so this here, and by the way, you can't go by the drivel that you're taught from your mainstream professors. They don't understand mathematics, never have, and it's doubtful they ever will. Okay, because they don't understand Euclid's elements, have never understood the concept of numbers or the fundamental facts about mathematics. So a half is what you get when you count the number of equal parts in here, and you don't have to count them. Basically, you can just take a stick and see if it fits. See if it fits into both parts. Okay. If it fits exactly, then you can define numbers as this length being a ratio to itself. Okay. So you can define this length like this, and then say that the measure of this ratio, is equal to 1. Okay, so let's just put an m there for measure. That's equal to 1. And similarly, now you can count the number of parts here. It's just 1. Similarly, if you put 2 of these in front, like that, then the measure of that ratio is 2, and so on. Now you can count the number of equal parts in the consequent here. Okay, this is the consequent and this is the antecedent. So now you have a number. It's abstract. Okay, a half doesn't exist as a magnitude ever. There is one exception. That's if you decide to add a physical unit. Let's say you add mile, half a mile. Now, this here is a magnitude and a number. It's made up of the abstract number a half and a pre-assigned physical distance, which you think of as a mile. Okay, so a half doesn't exist as a magnitude. Similarly, if you have any square, and you take the diagonal, you can say this is square root of 2 by saying this is 1 and this is 1. There is no ideal number 1. I mean ideal magnitude 1, not number. There is no ideal magnitude 1. Okay. So, I mean, if you take another bigger square like that, then what? Is this now square root 2? And is this now 1? No, because square root 2 arises from the attempted measure of the diagonal using the side. Okay. The baboons, known as your math professors and math teachers, do not understand these facts. But I, the great John Gabriel, out of my infinite mercy and goodness, explain these things to you. If you have any questions, I suggest you read my free ebook called Learning the Correct Way, and also those free articles that I list in the details section. It'll make you smarter than any of those baboons known as your math lecturers and professors, or your teachers in high school, who know nothing about mathematics or its foundations. I'm John Gabriel. This is a new calculus channel. Till next